Hello again, YouTube land.
Welcome to our channel.
Well, actually, you know, if you couldn't understand this, hello out there in YouTube land.
And welcome to our channel.
Today we're going to review the epically bad movie starring Nicolas Cage.
It probably maybe one that you guys have or have not heard of.
If you saw Mandy last year and thought that was an epic, insane Cage fest, you need to watch Vampire's Kiss.
Yeah, it's...
Unique!
Unique is a good way to put that.
Nicolas Cage eats a real cockroach.
Yeah.
And he actually does. It's not a movie effect.
And he
did eat the cockroach.
He gets some of these fancy things in.
And somehow manages to chew through a woman's neck and kill her with those. I haven't figured out how someone could do that.
I don't think I could even chew a cooked vegetable with these, but...
Or a hot dog. I don't think you can chew
so.
through a hot dog.
No.
No. So, it's a unique movie. If we would have had a sofa to crawl out from underneath for this video, we would have, because he uses a sofa as a coffin.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure what all there is to say about the movie, except for Maria Conchita Alonso has her first, I think it's one of her first roles in that film.
Yeah.
And she's a joy in the movie, and you really feel sorry for her working for the nutcase that is Nicolas Cage.
Oh, sometimes it reminds me of some old bosses.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Well, at least none of them ever attacked you with vampire fangs.
This is true. This is very true. I would be very worried, actually.
I think most people would be. At least most people that have some type of normal sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's somebody out there would think that would great, but not us.
No.
This is not Twilight vampires. This is not romantic Lestat vampires. This is an epic mess.
This is actually a movie about psychosis and a psychotic break, if you really get down to it. Because in the beginning they talk, he's with a therapist. And he's talking about his inability to have a meaningful
romantic relationship.
Yeah, committed relationship. And he's dating, but, it's just
horribly.
Not
he tries to date, but he ends up doing one-night stands, and he's really an officious prick who is just flat full of himself.
Yes.
And thinks he can do no wrong, and yet he does all these horrible things to these women he tries to date. And somehow a bat flies into his apartment and he thinks he's becoming a vampire. That's still such a far-fetched...
I know. I mean, I've had bats in my house, nor I've not thought once that I had a vampire. I was just chasing.
Well, maybe we should check your teeth. You never know, Tabby. But, you don't
know my activities at night.
Okay. Well, at a certain point, you reach an area where you're willing to suspend disbelief when you watch a fantasy movie or a horror film or whatever. But then there's the movies that stray way too far out of the scope of believability, and this is really one of those.
And I guess the psychotic break essentially starts with the bat.
Yeah.
Because he is chasing this bat out of his apartment after a date. And then somehow in his mind... He
associates the bat with a woman that kind of half blew him off at the club, and he thinks that she's the vampire that was the bat that flew into his apartment.
And then he begins to do these...
Renfield things?
He becomes a Renfield type character, and that part's almost hysterical.
And, of course, it's Nicolas Cage walking around going... with fake fangs in his mouth, the horrible, cheap fake fangs, and it's just ridiculous. So, like we said earlier, if you've seen Mandy and you thought that was the craziest Nicolas Cage could get, you ain't seen nothing yet.
You haven't seen a thing yet. So before we go on, if you would like to hear more about this, please hit subscribe and the bell.
Because we're going to be doing a lot more bad movie reviews. This is one of our favorite subjects.
Yes, it is.
So we can talk about these for days.
So, I think one of my moments as I'm watching this whole cascade of ridiculous, essentially, is when he actually puts the fake fangs in. He goes to a store, to this little gag shop, gift shop.
Kind of a cult type thing.
And he can't afford the fangs that you glue onto your teeth. So he goes and grabs The plastic ones.
Because in the movie they're like $3 and something, and
And then he goes to a park and gets a hold of pigeons.
and he chews apart a pigeon with plastic vampire fangs.
And then he captures more pigeons and he takes them back to his apartment, flips himself underneath the couch, and you see all these bird feathers. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, dude, you're human, and you've just eaten a raw pigeon?
And, you know, if anybody knows anything about blood-borne pathogens, if you ingest raw blood from a human, a bird, a
Right.
dog, you're going to get horribly sick.
And you can get sick not only to your stomach and, just systemically.
Yes.
It does affect you in the way that you run a fever.
Yes.
And I think this is what kind of he starts to do in the movie, because he goes into almost delusional
Behavior.
patterns.
Yes.
Where he's talking to his therapist, but in truth he's talking to a wall.
Yeah.
Which I don't know, if you get me tired enough I might talk to a wall, but I don't think it's my therapist.
No. I think, I've stayed off into space plenty of times and tried to figure out what the hell is going on in my life and why am I doing the things I'm doing, but I can honestly say, even the times I've been horribly drunk, I've never hallucinated to the point that I thought an inanimate object was a therapist.
And not only was it a therapist, I mean, he was like full-blown in her clinic.
And thought that she was fixing him up with another patient that he later murdered, that he didn't murder because it was all in his head. Yeah.
Because somehow in the very end scenes of this, the whole thing with his issues and relationships comes back, and he just gets annoyed with her like 10 minutes after meeting her.
And in love with her in the space of 10 minutes.
Yes. So he gets back to the apartment and she is driving him nuts. So
if you really need a movie to laugh, give you a good hearty belly laugh, watch Vampires Kiss. Seriously.
It's as funny as it is bad.
So thanks for joining us here today. Comment down below with, your favorite bad horror film. We might even review it if you let us know how amazingly bad it is.
Until then, we upload every Thursday. Please don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell.
And, till then, attempt to enjoy the daylight. Bye-bye.